Hi Larry, this video is for you, just to give you an update of how far I've got, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna take the thing apart and start from the beginning. Now, that's how good the fit is. Okay. Now, I'll take these pins out, the two eccentric pins, and then I'll push these pins out from the bottom because I don't want them to drop on the floor. They might get damaged, and I'll put that there. Come on. I've got to run a hand reamer up from the bottom of the hole, because I chamfered it like I did at the top here, chamfered the holes. Hope you can see that, and so it's left a little bit of a burr at that point on the bore. So, alright, put that there. What I did was set this up on the mill, and with a square in this center slot and a spacer, I squared the front face on here, and then I clamped this down on here in the position that I wanted it. And then I made up a punch with a pointer on it, a half-inch punch, and spotted. I put it on the mill, and I got one of these needle wobblers, a set of Starrett needle wobblers, and put that up in the collet, and came down with the needle and found the spot mark on here, and then I locked everything up. I then put this back on, and I used this as a guide. I used that as a guide to put a spot in this one hole. I didn't move anything once I'd got it set. Can't rely on the dials, so I didn't want to move anything. So then I took it off again, and I spotted with a center drill, and I went down to the shank and a little bit deeper than the shank, which was quarter, to give my quarter drill bit a nice location to centralize on. I drilled down through the about 3/4 of the way, and then the quarter drill started bunging up and wanting to stall, so I took the quarter drill bit out and I put a 3/8 drill bit in and continued opening up the hole, and went right the way through with a 3/8. That broke through. That made it easy for the swarf to remove from the drill flutes. Then I put up a I think it was a 32nd under a half-inch diameter drill bit, and I drilled that down through. Then I put the boring head up and I opened up the hole until there was about 5 thou left in there. Then I put this back on again and located it from the collet with a 1/2 inch pin that was reduced to 3/8 for the collet, and I located that on there, and I used that as a guide for the reamer, machine reamer. So I then reamed down, and that as well wanted to get clogged up, and I didn't want to run it too fast, so I left it at that, and that allowed me to put one of these pins in and locate this hole. Now, because I've got this one already drilled out and I've got my centers, I relied on this instead of the index on the z-axis, the x-axis, and what I did was I moved the whole thing over on the carriage, and I dialed this face in, got it true, and then I took it off and did the procedure again on this side. So that was the first section. See, this one is still a little bit. There's still a little bit of. It might be swarf. I don't know. I'm gonna have to just polish the pin down a little bit. It's a real good fit. There's no slack whatsoever. It's within a few tenths of clearance. So so that's that. Then I turned it over and I reamed and I countersunk the hole at the back end here, and then the final thing was to get my hand drill, a hand reamer, and run that down. And as you can see, it's quite a nice, it's a good fit. So there you go, that's that. Oh, so I'll run it down here as well. So that's it at the moment. I'll put this back on and we'll see how the pins fit now. That's that one. Okay, we'll put this one in. And it's a little bit, it only takes a little bit of grit to get in there. Yeah, still a little bit sticky. It needs to be kind of nice and loose. And that one goes in. And that still needs a little bit of relieving, and it's in the main block here, it's not in here. It's a good fit in here. This one is a little bit tighter, so what I have to do now is to let's get that in there. Now you can't see this probably. It doesn't move very much, only about 25 thou, but that's all you need. So what I do now is I find the bottom the lowest point, and then I bring it up about 90 degrees, so that it's making contact and lifting. And then I'm going to take a measurement from this base to the pin, and before I do that, I'm going to have to put this back up on the mill, and I'm going to mill a slot across the hole at the bottom, sunk in enough for clearance so that it doesn't interfere with the base, and I'm going to mill a slot in there for clearance on a quarter dowel, and then I'll be able to take a dimension from the base to the face of the slot, the bottom face of the slot, and that will give me a dimension, and then I'll be able to determine, when this is in this position, where the dowel needs to go. And I'll probably put a flat on the dowel so that it doesn't sit on a radius up in the slot, but it will sit on a flat, and I'll probably Loctite it in. It's not going to go anywhere once it's inside the bore and the slot. It's not going to fall out. It can't fall out. So it'll probably be a tap fit in the cross hole on the pin. So then once I've done that, this should work. So that should allow me to take the pin out, because that'll drop, and then I can lift this off if I have to, but in the meantime it will stay inside the bore, because it will be on a flat surface, and I'll just be able to drop this back down over the two pins and insert the cam and turn it once I go past the 90 degree, it will start to pull this down onto this surface. And if I can get it around about 10 o'clock on a clock dial, if I can get that positioned around about 10 o'clock, and it's tight, that should hold everything solid. So okay, that's as far as I've got. So I'm gonna do a little bit more here, and then I'm gonna go in for supper. Yeah, I'll just run, where's that thing? Yeah, I'll just run the reamer down there again and see if it may just be a little bit of see, it's going, yeah, it's easing off now, but it's too tight. It should float. So we'll give that a try. What happened to it? Where's the pin? Oh, here. Yeah, nice suction when you put your finger over the hole. So it's pretty good. See that's better. So it was just a little bit of swarf. See that? Look. That's beautiful. maybe up at this end it may need a bit more of a chamfer, but we'll put that in, and that is the same thing. So it's working good. It's working good. Yeah. I'll give the pin a little bit of a polish at that end and see if that helps. Okay, I'll call off now because I'm going in for supper. 7 o'clock here. I came out here at just after 5. So, but it's coming along. It's improving. You see. Now I probably would never have got that with the closeness of the fit on the pin, on the 2 pins. So you can rock it a little bit, but once it's down on that surface it's going to square everything up, and it's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, cool off.